think Miss Jen's got the final question, which is one of our
I do.
dominate with Dawson crossover question of the episode.
It is, but I think it's a really great question to ask our friend, Mr. Rock Bentley. So, our crossover question is, what would your perfect racing series be? For example, rules, cars, arrows, sprinklers, tires, etc.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's a big
Wow.
one. But
Wow.
it's a
Yeah.
great question for you.
We end with a
Yeah. Yeah.
bang here.
Um, uh, so I've kind of half joked about this, but yeah, I would make it rain at certain races,
Hmm.
having sprinklers put into tracks.
Now,
So
just
I
to
would do
clarify,
that.
would the whole track be wet or would some of the track be wet?
Well, so here's what I do. So if I was king of the world and controlled
It's
all
the
the
Ross
racing,
Bentley series. It's,
yeah.
you know.
So if I was Liberty Media
Mhm.
and the FIA, I would demand that every racetrack that Formula One races at installs a sprinkler system along the edges of the track, where they could turn on a little bit of rain, like a little bit of wet on the track, a lot of wet on the track, and they could have parts of the track wet, parts of it dry. But that could be something that they could they could dial up or down. And then at the beginning of the season, what is there, 22 races now or 23 or whatever it is? Um, we'd take 22 races, and at the beginning of the season, we'd go pull out of the hat, go, these six are going to be wet. And then, I don't know, three or four other ones, you don't know until race morning. And then the rest of them could be dry. And the great thing is, as spectators, you could be sitting there out in the sun and enjoying it. And the best racing we ever watch is in the rain. So I think that would be really cool. And then the next year, a different six tracks would be wet. So that would be the first thing. If I could just wave my magic wand and make things happen, that would be the first thing. Um, I think, and I'm biased this way, but I would do it with open wheel cars.
Okay.
And the reason for that is, first of all, having driven open wheel cars and prototype cars, I'm sorry if you haven't driven one, they are just more fun. Like, yes, you can have huge amounts of fun in a really fast GT3 car these days and all that kind of stuff, but there's just something even more pure about an open wheel car or a prototype car. And there's the only thing that I love prototype racing, IMSA World Endurance Championship. I love that stuff. One of the things is they built the cars so strong now that we see people doing things that are a bit dicey.
Hmm.
And drivers in open wheel cars, you wouldn't, sometimes I kind of watch an Indy car and Formula One recently and going, I don't think these guys got the message that things can happen when cars interlock wheels. And the way from open wheel cars are now, it's harder to interlock wheels. So, but I still think there's a level of respect that an open wheel driver has to have, um, that is different. And I would have that. And then the next thing I do is deal with the whole track limits thing. I think tracks that have these massive runoff areas where a driver can gain a benefit from being in that massive runoff area needs to go away. I'm not suggesting that we surround tracks with a moat full of crocodiles, but
Might work.
might work. But it's not, it would be really easy. Take Coda, for example. There's so many corners at Coda where if you drive off the outside of the curbing, it does not hurt you whatsoever. And in some places, you can gain a little advantage. What if they, some of the sealer they used at Mid Ohio that made the track really slippery?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Just put a little bit of that, about like about a car's width wide from the edge of the curbing out for about a car width, so that a driver would not gain any advantage by dropping wheels outside the edge of the curbing. In fact, if they got on it, they'd probably have to open their hands and slide across, and then would lose a bunch of time. But you can leave all the rest of that pavement out there, and in fact, make it even grippier. Because if a car does slide off, you want that runoff area to slow the car down before it hits anything.
Right.
So, the overall deceleration rate from the edge of the curbing to the wall would be the same. It's just that first car width or so would be much less. And then from out there, you have a little bit more grippy track. So that's what I would do with the runoff areas of all the tracks. And I think that would start to self-police the whole runoff area broom thing.
Mhm.
And then Jennifer, there's something around the, I believe there is a lot of race officials who feel that it's their duty to have an impact on the outcome of a race. And I believe race officials should have the least amount of impact on the outcome of a race, a least amount possible. And there's a lot of times when, you know what, that was just two drivers going racing. Leave them alone. You know, one of them paid the price, one of them didn't pay the price, both of them paid the price, none of them paid. Just let them go to it. But right now, there's a lot of times when two drivers, something happens, you know, seen times in the last little while where a driver is on the outside trying to pass somebody around the outside. They're on the outside of the outside of the track limits now, and the driver on the inside gets penalized for that, saying you needed to give them room. Well, sorry, they chose to drive around the outside and try to make a pass there. That's the risk you pay.
Right.
And so just kind of only get involved when you absolutely must get involved, when there's something pretty blatant. And I think there's a lot of times recently when there's a lot of tough racing where it's not blatant.
All right. So real quick, we only got a couple minutes.
Okay.
What engines?
Okay. Ideally, it's a V12 that has about 1,000 horsepower.
Okay.
Because it sounds wonderful and it's got lots of power.
Okay. Aero?
Very little.
Okay. Tires?
Not the grippiest tires.
Racing slicks, though, not 200 tread wear.
Slicks
Okay.
and, the size and everything about now. I actually think that like a Formula One tire and an IndyCar tire right now, they're good tires. They're pretty, I think they've got a pretty good balance on them. What I wouldn't want is a tire that, okay, the first 3 laps are magic and then they fall off completely.
Okay.
And I also wouldn't want a tire that lasts forever, because I think one of the things that makes Formula One and IndyCar racing interesting is when they've got to use different tires at different times, there's strategy involved. And as much as I would like everything just to be left up to the drivers to sort out, I do like racing when there's some strategy involved. And that's interesting.
What about your thoughts on the fuel conserving part of racing?
I would say most of the time I don't like it. But when you see something like what Scott Dixon did at Long Beach this year,
right,
that he put on a clinic for everybody, and you go, man, that was so impressive. I love seeing that. So I don't mind it every now and then, but if it comes down to a fuel save thing and drivers are backed off saving fuel all the time, that's no fun. It's no fun for the drivers. It's no fun for the spectators.
Okay. You know who didn't see the clinic? That was Miss Vicky at NJMP. Did not see the clinic on fuel saving at all.
Not at all. No.
Well, there's something about just go for it.
Try till you get towed in.
Yeah, we just had this whole thing. Oh yeah, right. The toe of shame.
That's right.
No, that's one thing another thing that dawned on me versus the racecraft thing is, we were taking things seriously, and I never took in fuel consumption as a factor in the way I was driving. And
Nope.
Bill had it timed out, and I'm just like, I really got to lay off, but I don't want to lay off.
And she
I'm
wouldn't.
passing everybody. I don't want to keep doing this.
And she was 100% convinced, 100% convinced that we were lying to her about there being a fuel light that comes
I
on when
don't
it gets
think there's a fuel light.
She
I
still
don't
doesn't.
think it's a
Yeah.
myth.
Three laps left when the light comes on. She's like, "No, there's no light. You're lying to me."
I haven't seen the light. I've never seen the light.
It's because you never drove to the end of a track. But that's fine.
Never seen the light.
Yeah, we know. Well, you married
We're
me, so
yelling at her, don't look at the light.
Oh, look at
Yeah.
the light.
That's
Jennifer's
right.
yelling in there, drive till you gotta be toted.
All
No.
Mr. Bentley, we made it through episode 600. Thank you, sir.
Congratulations on 600 episodes. There's not. Oh, I wonder what the percentage of podcasts that last to that level. I wonder what.
Not a lot.
Yeah. So you
I
guys
think
are
We're
doing
just
we're-
a
something
glutton
special.
for punishment.
I think
There
we're
is
like.
that too.
I think we're third. There's three. There's definitely two that I know that have more episodes in racing and driving than we do, but
Yeah.
not too many. That's okay.
Yeah. Well,
We said we'd do 1,000, so we got some more for you.
if you need to, like, we can go and hunt those people down and kill them.
One of them's pretty big, so I'm
Oh
gonna-
my God. Run over him.
Yeah.
no worries. Thank you, Ross. Always a
Okay.
pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
and
Ross.
I'll see you in 50 episodes.
We'll be
The
there.
episode. Thank you, Ross.
Thank you.
Thank you.